So you're talking about the lighting creating the atmosphere for that.
You really
space.
want to walk in a house and feel that sense of warmth, not only through the decor and furnishings, but lighting makes such a tremendous difference. People are kind of moving away from can lights in like living areas and doing more lamps, the accent lighting and bookshelves. When it comes to trim colors, the number one Sherwin-Williams trim color is...
Welcome to the Beyond Wealth podcast, Erin Barrow. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So, I have wanted to have a designer on the podcast for a while now.
Yeah.
I think that in the real estate space, and honestly, like the way the world is. So my background is actually, I was a graphic designer and did video and shot weddings for like 13 years.
Yeah.
And so my filter always when I'm walking through a house is this the best case use for this house? Like what wall can move? What, are these countertops, often my houses that I'm walking through, especially for renovation, they're rough, so everything could be replaced. But I think through that filter of like what's the best way we could do it? And I think that design is so much a part of which helps real estate move, and bad design makes it not move. And so I'm really excited to have you on. Thank you so much for the time. And so super excited about this podcast. We may last like 2 hours. We were talking about offline. I was like, when do you need to stop? You're like, never. And I'm like, okay, great.
Could talk about it all day.
But yeah, give me a little bit of background about where you started, how you kind of got in the design world, and how you ended up here in Birmingham and starting Swag and everything that kind of the early start of it.
Of course. So grew up in Birmingham, born and raised in Birmingham. Went to Auburn University and then War Eagle.
I knew there was a reason why I
Eagle. And then I came back and grew up in the real estate industry in one way or another. And have been around the builder market my whole life. My mom grew up as a residential marketing rep for Alabama Gas and retired from there for 40 years. So I really did grow up within the building industry and loved it. So after graduating from Auburn, worked for a title business and kind of just got into it a little bit, and then decided to take a leap of faith and move to New York.
Everybody's classic story,
my gosh. So
from Birmingham to New York.
Yeah, so I was a tourist in New York for a year. But within that, I wanted to find what I loved, and I wanted to do what was established and what my passion was, which was real estate. The real estate market in New York is slightly different than Birmingham, but I landed a great job with J. Crew, the clothing company, and within their real estate department. So what I did was from New York, I coordinated the setup of factory and retail stores, the millwork, the mirrors, the ottomans in the dressing room, anything and everything that has to do with building out one of their retail and factory stores. Can lights, chandeliers, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway,
I want to stop you right there real quick. Were those changeovers like very often, or were they like more classic, like we're going to keep a baseline and change a few things, or was it complete store revamps?
It was constant with the build outs, but what they did was more market driven. So if it was in a more coastal area, we went more coastal with the design. If it was in a shopping center, we went a little bit more durable. So, and I think that's where, I've always said every position in life takes you to the next step. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I look back at my life and all the hurdles and all the great things and the crazy things, and everything takes you to the next step. And I think that's where, in today's world of building and markets, I have to figure out the market and the economy and where that builder is specifically building, not just. It's not always a personal thing. It really has to do with wherever you're remodeling or wherever you're flipping. You have to take all of that into consideration. So
that is so true. It's like there's so many times when I do a flip that there's certain things I personally would want to do, but either the price point doesn't justify it, or the market is, it's just the wrong choice for that pocket. And you have to just say, hey, I'm going to put my personal preference aside, or even look at the budget and say, I may want to put, this is crazy, but like a silver chandelier, but that's just not appropriate.
Yes. You really do have to look at the surroundings. You have to look at your demographic. You have to, if it's a house with families around, or a good school system, or if it's more
transient,
if it's new younger couples that are moving in. I mean, every house in every community and every builder, you really have to look at what the area is like. So anyway, I worked for J. Crew for a little over a year. It was an incredible experience. And then when I moved back to Birmingham, I talked to multiple builders. This was 2006, 2005, 2006. Talked to multiple builders and ended up with a national home builder locally and opened the first Birmingham design studio. And then other builders quickly started to see the need for personalizing a space. So other builders started doing personalized design studios, in-house designers, options, picking out finishes, and just the whole process. And it really has just snowballed in such a great way. And then after a few years of working with them and making great connections, I decided to go out on my own. And I saw the need for the builders that maybe didn't have a need to open their whole design studio. They weren't as big as some other builders locally, but they still wanted that personalized space. And I take chances. That's how you get anywhere. It's the scariest thing. But taking that chance, I went out on my own in 2009 and started to service multiple builders. And
right as the market was heating up.
In the middle of a crash.
I don't know if anybody remembers, but 08, 09 was pretty rough.
So taking that leap of faith.
I love it.
And everyone thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
But I knew the market needed something different. I mean, I was in an industry that I loved, and I saw it going down. I mean, quickly going down.
Yeah.
So I approached other builders, and they were all like, "Yeah, like I want to do this. I want to work with you. I want to give that option to our clients, but we have inventory on the ground, and we can't build anymore until we sell what we have. And these houses have been on the ground for 3, 6, 8, 9 months." So I offered to stage it. Staging was brand new in this market. There were a few TV shows about it, but I took furniture from my house, my parents' house, shopped around locally and staged a house that had been on the market for 6.5 months on a Friday, and it sold on a Saturday. And the builder's like, "Can we move it to the next one? Can we move it to the next one?"
Yeah.
And this was in a well-established community in Hoover, and we continue to do that. He spread the word of what was working for him. Other builders caught on. And so staging became a huge impact of a visualization for buyers to see themselves living in a space.
Yeah.
They were able to go into a house that had been sitting on the market. It was fluffed. It was visually attractive. And they started making the move. And
I love that story because, we're currently in a market that is a little bit pulling back.
Yeah.
Prices of houses are really high.
Yeah.
Rates are high.
Right.
And a lot of times the sellers and buyers are not meeting in the
Yeah.
middle. And right now, all the agents I talk to, they're just having to work harder.
Yeah.
Prep better.
Yeah.
Stage. Like the really good stuff is what is selling, and the
Yeah.
stuff that's subpar is just sitting.
Yeah.
And you kind of came into the market where excellence had to be there in order to move.
A change had to be there.
Yeah.
Like there had to be a change. These houses were just sitting, and they needed something new. And people are so visual,
100%.
Designers and remodelers and builders can look at a set of plans and think about what it's going to look like when it's done. Everyone else can't do that. And so we had to bring that in to just show them what it can look like. So
I love that you say that, because there's a lot of times when I do a flip that I'll walk it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this looks good, but I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
And it's because I've already seen it.
Yeah.
And I did that for so many years,
Right.
like mocking, when you're designing in a computer to make shortcuts, you just think of an idea and you mock it up in your brain
Right.
before you even put it, and you're like, nope, not going to work.
Yep.
Not going to look good.
Yep.
And you think of 10 ideas for one that you actually put on the screen.
Right.
And so I do that when I flip houses.
Yeah.
I can see it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, I had to learn not everybody can see it.
Right.
And I love the staging thing. There was one as actually for a client, and they had staged it. And I happened to be there when the eventual buyers were there. They were kind of taking a second pass through with their friends and kind of showing them. And they were looking at 2 houses. And one house, this, was a little bit, more flipped and staged.
Yeah.
The other was just lived in.
Right.
And they didn't know who I was. I was just kind of playing in the background, and I overheard them say, there's something about this place that just feels like home.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, from then on, I was like, this is why.
Yeah.
And I stage all my flips from then on.
And it is why. I mean, you do. It's just, it's a feeling. It's a little bit of warmth. It's, there's just so many layers that go into a house, and you want people to get excited when they walk in, and they get more excited on a furnished home. I mean, they just do. And so from stagings to models to personalizing a space, I just think it's so important for this market. And so that's kind of
amazing.
where we are now.
That's amazing. I love it. And I mean, we could literally spend, honestly, a whole episode on your business model, on building your team. I've had great interactions with your team, so shout out to them.
They're the best.
And that, to me, speaks to the culture that you've built together as a leader. But I want to move beyond that because we don't have 4 hours or whatever.
Right.
I want to really dive into your knowledge and depth about design, about kind of that concept of like, how do you do trends? Yeah. But then also have parts of your house that are timeless. Sure. What's currently coming up? What is timeless choices? I know you just came back from a conference and you're super pumped about that. So I kind of want to talk a lot of design. I want to dive deep into that. So let's start with what do you kind of classify as like great choices that are timeless, great just base stuff, and then stuff that can be trendy and what comes and goes. And then we can maybe talk about actual things that are trending and stuff. But
so I mean, as we know, everything repeats. So, it's funny because my parents, the previous house they were in, they built in the 90s, and it was gold hardware and gold knobs and gold white cabinets and all that. And then that transitioned, and then it all came back through. So you definitely have a repeat of design. And there's so many different layers to this because so many people, when they are remodeling or building a home, focus so much on resale. And I think you really do have to live and love your space. And I think if it's something you love, it should be in there because it makes it feel like home. On that level, when you're, like you talked about, remodeling or building, I think there needs to be parameters that people need to stay within, not for resale values, and not only for trends, but for more timeless, for more classic. I think anything that is bolder can be brought in with artwork and pillows, and a big thing that we're going to see that's been going on are going to be animal patterns and prints of some sort. So when it comes to design,
you heard it here. Prints are coming back.
Prints are staying around. But I think when it comes to timeless design, we're seeing a huge shift from sand and finish and pre-finished flooring to LVP. Okay. And that's from price points of homes from $350,000 to over $1 million. I have a builder that builds over $1 million houses and is using a fantastic LVP product. And that's more for durability. LVP is a very durable product.
Yeah. It's come a long way.
I remember about 10 or 12 years ago, there was a builder tried an LVP product, and it was just like soft and pops, and I mean it was rough, but it has come such a great way. Wide planks, people love a wide plank. I think the more traditional way is a 2 1/4 inch sand and finish hardwood, right? And you can get a great 5-inch sand and finish hardwood or a great 7-inch LVP product. So I think both of those right now are great options, and we're seeing that across the board, depending on where the house is and the price point of the home. So a lot of different levels to building a house. I'll start with new construction, but I think painted cabinets are great. We're still seeing the wood cabinets come in on islands, on bar areas. Is
that just to create like a little warmth?
A little bit of warmth, a little bit differentiation. People are tending to go against grays, thank goodness. And the number 1 and 2 paint color is pure white and alabaster from Sherwin-Williams. Yep. And agreeable gray was popular for a long time. I can tell you as of last month that that sales has dropped with Sherwin-Williams 30 to 45%. Oh, wow. And I found that out this past week. So, I mean, that's a hard statistic of grays are definitely trending out, and the whites are staying soft and staying in. And those are soft whites, and I think that's something great. I always encourage people to use one color throughout the house when they're building or remodeling, get lived in, and then you can always go back and paint rooms accent colors. A great trend, though, I will say, is color trenching. I mean, we do love to color drench a room.
I love a good color drench.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I actually have zero clue what that means, but I'm on board. So explain what a color drench is.
And you can do it with a bold color.
Okay.
Blues and greens are great. Blue makes you feel warm and cozy. Greens are very trendy right now, and neither of those colors are going away. So color drenching, you do the walls, the crown molding, and the ceiling all the same color.
Interesting.
And you can do it again with a bold color, or you can do it with a good neutral. So those are great options.
That's interesting. What are your thoughts on accent walls?
I don't love them. So I think it's been around. I think it's going out.
Okay.
I think we're doing more color drenching and wallpaper. I think that's what's really more popular right now. So kind of gotten, I'm all over the place with
this is great. This is what I want. This is great stuff.
So cabinets, I'm going from the kitchen throughout the house.
Yeah.
So painted cabinets, still warm tones with the cabinets as far as wood. Oak is still hanging around. Good neutrals, staining, neutral stains, lighter stains. Quartz countertops are a fantastic product. They give you the look of marble, but the durability of a quartz, which you can wipe right off.
I love quartz. On the stains, are you trending toward water-based products so that it doesn't tint the wood, that oil?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't know about that. So just to briefly digress into it, the product you use matters. And all the oil-based products have a tint to them because it's oil. And so you know, a lot of people are like, how do you get that really white finish of the floor?
Right.
Well, you have to use a water-based, which in the end is not quite as durable, but it will give you that true wood shining through.
Yeah. And there's so many cabinet companies and distributors out there that have fantastic finishes on the cabinets.
Yeah.
Mixing metals is huge. Some people prefer it, some people don't like it, but you can have stainless appliances and then mix in a little bit of gold hardware on your cabinets. More of a softer brush gold, or mixing the satin nickel and the bronze or matte black finishes. So mixing metals is still huge. Going throughout the house, I think lighting is so tremendous. I mean, lighting is huge. That was a big thing we talked about at the conference this week, is really conversational pieces and how people move and live throughout their home.
Okay. So you're talking about the lighting creating the atmosphere for that.
You really
space.
want to walk in a house and feel that sense of warmth, not only through the decor and furnishings, but lighting makes such a tremendous difference, from under cabinet lighting to lighting in bookshelves, lighting over bar areas. Smaller can lights, more 3 to 4 inch can lights as opposed to the 6 inch can lights.
Yep.
Pendant lights over an island are always great to have. A great dining fixture, and you can put them on dimmers, but really just mixing the can lights with the softer lighting finishes. People are kind of moving away from can lights in living areas and doing more lamps. Like I said, the accent lighting in bookshelves.
Right.
Just a softer, cozier, warmer feel throughout the home. A lot of wall sconces. People love the accent wall sconces as opposed to big overhead lights. So really that's always an option to bring into any space. And you see that in a lot of all house price points. It's great to add those wall sconces, and it's something the builder or the remodeler can go ahead and do ahead of time, as opposed to the client coming back and doing it. So lighting is huge. To think about lighting as you would your cabinets and countertops is really a step that people need to think about, because it gives you such that ambience feeling of living in the space.
I think stages too. So in my house, I have, in the main living space, I have kind of 2 levels. So I do have the recessed lighting. Yeah. If I want to just live in the space, see everything. Right. And then I have another, just a wall plug that's plugged into 2 lamps. Yeah. And it's a simplified version of what you're talking about, but that's for movie night or just hanging out and talking. And it's a totally different feel in that front room that I would say that 80% of our living life is in. Yeah. And me and the boys are just kind of go between those two. If we're playing Lego in the front room, the bright lights are on because we need to see. And so that's what I've always thought. On some of my flips, I need to probably put dimmers on, because I do like recess. I think it helps show well, maybe not as moody, but it helps it like bright and
Yeah.
feel like, brand new.
Yeah.
But I think this conversation is like, I need to put a dimmer so that they can feel, what would it feel like in an evening?
Well, I mean, think about how many people buy a house in the middle of the day.
Right.
Everyone. I mean, 90% of people probably sign a contract or tour a model or look at your flip or, anything, any real estate is done during the day.
Right.
So if you think about, I know we call it that crazy hour or two that you come in and kids are doing homework and cooking dinner and doing laundry, all the lights are on. But then at some point you're like, I'm ready to disconnect.
Yeah, I need to wind.
I need to wind down.
Yeah.
I need all the overhead lighting off. So I think you really, if you can think about it ahead of time, it really does make a difference once people get in the house and are living there.
I think the sconces thing is something that a lot of people would not think of, but after the fact be like, oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
So talking about the current trends or the current things that are timeless, something that's there and moving forward are herringbone patterns. And that's in wood. And you can do a wood herringbone, tile herringbone patterns.
Yep.
That's something that's not going away. Kind of still shifting into the bathrooms. Penny tiles have been smaller. The larger penny tiles you're gonna see a lot more of the large penny tiles. We actually just did those in a model home, so that's coming out. Yeah, so large penny tiles are great. I think a 3x6 or a 4x16, the large subway tiles.
Yes. The longer ones.
The longer ones. And I think you can do it. You can do it
it
straight stacked. You can still do it offset. You can turn it horizontal, vertical. I think that's just a timeless look, but still there's different textures and colors that make it a little bit more trendy right now, but still timeless.
Are you on flooring layout, tile layout, are you typically like a third layout person, or do you do halves, or does it just depend on what I'm kind of
there's
so many,
so I'm a little more half, but
really? Okay.
Unless it's straight. I do love a straight. I do love a vertical straight. I mean, you really can't go wrong.
Where they're all this.
Yes. And you can even do the same color to save on cost. You can do the same color or size and then just change the pattern from bathroom to bathroom. So
that's
lots
an
of
interesting
good
thought.
options.
Yeah. You could do herringbone in one
and then straight
something
somewhere else.
So I know I'm kind of like, you're like trying to go through the house,
You're
and I'm
good.
like, what about this? What about this?
You're good.
But I love, well, let me just ask what you think, and then I'll say what I love. Full tile walls in bathrooms.
Yeah.
I love them.
Sure.
Is that like a trend
like the
coming
whole
and
bathroom?
go? No.
Okay.
Just a wall that I've seen. Like sometimes it's the backsplash of the counter,
the vanity,
all the way up.
You can definitely do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think depending on the layout,
look,
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I love texture.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get that little added texture in a space, if it's behind a vanity, I love it. I mean, absolutely. Full walls, no, but I think an added texture layered space is fantastic.
Okay, cool.
We're seeing people trend towards the hard surfaces in the bedroom still. Carpet sometimes is more budget friendly, but in design appointments that we do now, people really do prefer that upgrade, that extra step. Again, durability, cleanliness. Pets, kids, relatives.
And I mean, if you want that softness, you can put it on a rug.
Absolutely.
And
that's
if
another
you want
layer.
a different color.
We love the layers. So if you've got the hard
out.
surface with the layer of the carpet, or layer of the rugs, then that's always an option.
Yeah.
So there's so many great options out there. I think the herringbone's big. That's never going to go away. The large penny tiles. Eggshell paint's always a great option.
Yeah.
Flat paint seems to be more popular for new construction, but there's actually a very interesting statistic that's what we're looking at moving forward is that people are preferring durability and sustainability over luxury. So given that we are really looking to push towards water filtration systems, air purification systems, durability on paint, anything that makes it easier to live in the house and more sustainable, they prefer, and they'll pay for it. They will pay for it.
Are they doing semi-gloss on trim and
Yep. So we typically
doors?
do semi-gloss on the crown molding baseboards and doors.
Yep.
You can still do flat ceilings. And then and eggshell paint on the walls.
And is your flat ceilings like a super white? It's not alabaster?
So it depends on what you're doing. You can match the crown molding. I love matching the crown molding to the ceiling. You can really play with paint and those softer neutral finishes.
Yeah.
And again, you could do like the alabaster, which isn't a soft, or you can still do a bright white ceiling if you wanted to.
Okay. That's just, I've always heard that you want to have your ceilings like just the super white. But I might try, I might mix it up.
It would be a little softer. It would be great.
A little crazy.
A little trendier.
You're like, whoa, Todd, you went with a different white. It's like, listen, guys, I'm a mover and a shaker.
Is when it comes to trim colors, the number 1 Sherwin-Williams trim color is pure white.
Yeah.
The number 2 trim color is still tricorn black.
Interesting.
So the doors with the black, which people are very much against, I don't mind it. But right now, tricorn black is the number 2 trim color. And then alabaster is the number 3 trim color. Okay. Which is funny because pure white and alabaster are the number 1 and 2 paint colors.
Right.
So people are still using. They're just doing the same thing. And when you change the finishes of the paint, it still changes the look of it. So.
It does. Yeah, I'll do an eggshell on the walls, and then I'll do a semi-gloss, and that helps the trim and doors pop a little more. Yeah. But there's both alabaster. Right. And I don't know. I'm trying to create the most universally welcoming product. Yeah. But that is interesting. I have never really liked a really dark trim against
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes it's because just the way it's done. I don't know. I also think this goes back to quality. If you have a really bad painter and you're doing that contrast, it just looks bad.
Right.
If you're doing alabaster on alabaster, if they miss a little spot, you're not going to see it every day. But try coming by.
You're going to see it for sure. No, that is absolutely a great point.
So walking through the spaces, so those are kind of what we're seeing and stuff. What is very trending that you see coming up in the next year that's going to be strong trends? Pull out your
So this is where I really have to
tell the future.
This is where I really have to keep like personal separate from what everyone should do. I think you keep softer walls, and I think you go bolder with paint on accent spaces. Okay. So an office, a foyer, anywhere that you have a separation of spaces. Make those spaces pop, but the overall feel, you want it to be softer.
Would you do like a hall, like a transitional hall too? Does that really help you much?
You could do a hall, and I think you can play with that with paint or wallpaper. Okay. I really do. And these are things that can be changed in a few years, rather than countertops and cabinets and things that are a little bit more not permanent, but you want it to last longer.
It's going to be a big cost to rip out your flooring.
It is.
I think that's the thing, is anybody going into a new build, or if they're adding addition to their house or whatever, talking with someone like you or you.
Yeah, right.
You are making very big decisions about something that's going to be there for probably, hopefully 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. And if you choose to change it, we're talking about a high dollar to rip out that countertop.
Absolutely.
Not as high dollar to paint a room. Yeah. Or pull out that wallpaper and put wallpaper. And so having an expert like you who says, hey, what if? Yeah. I do this every day. Yeah. And I had a client who did this, and they ended up coming back and redid it because it wore out over time. So
I think my biggest thing would be to encourage people to decorate their spaces around what they love, not what you see so much. But as far as functionality, I think quartz is a great product. I think accenting with those paint and wall color places, the lighting is a huge thing. Yeah. I love lighting, and lighting makes such an impact. I mean, if you've been in a home a few years, and lighting is something you can always change out. Chandeliers and accent pieces of lighting. And I think having it on those warmer colors, we look at cell phones all day with these bright screens, and at the end of the day, you just want it to be cooler. Yeah. As far as trends go, I would mix the metals. I would play with the pattern. I would look for the textures and use it in pillows, and customize things that can be changed over over years, but at the same time, it's colors that you love and feel comfortable in.
Right.
And live in the space. Do it the way you live in the space.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps with as much as trendy as it is more of an inspiration to do what you love and what you. I mean, it wants to be what you see, but if really what you love and you feel comfortable in it.
Yeah. I shot weddings for years, and I would always talk with my brides, and I would say, there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
You can get the big band. You can hire an amazing photographer like myself. You can spend money on 50 different things.
Yeah.
But what is important to you? Pick the 3 or 4 things that is really important to you and your day.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the rest. And I think with a home, it's so key to be like, there's guidelines and people like you, designers, can help. But at the same time, like, if you really like green, then have a green room, or if your mud room is like, have a place where maybe everything feels neutral, but your mud room is a place that you can kind of get wild and have that full green or something, like have a special place where like, that's a part of my heart. That's a part of what I love. And finding ways to do that and be able to change it up if you want to and stuff.
And I think pre-COVID, so many floor plans and people's spaces were all wide open. Everything was wide open. And I think a lot of people living at home and working at home and schooling at home and everything, post-COVID, we've closed off spaces a little bit more, but in a great way. Like everybody has a dedicated office space. People have a dedicated kids' desk space. People have a dedicated drop zone space. Like I think we've kind of dedicated spaces within our home, and we're kind of closing those areas off a little bit, but it also gives us the flexibility to do something cool with those spaces. And have those opportunities to live in them. But I do like having a little bit more, not so much open, but
so are you seeing builders and maybe in renovation spaces, them differing the level of the height of the ceiling to create, like a more comfy space, and maybe in the kitchen area, and then it goes higher in other area, or is that not as much? I think you can do more of like a vaulted space. You can do. I would keep the ceiling height the majority the same. Okay. But you can have accent ceiling spaces, but I wouldn't like go up and down necessarily with those spaces. Chandeliers are like lighting fixtures in the dining room can do that. It can make it feel.
It can make it feel
lower.
Like that. Yeah.
If you especially have something really big,
absolutely, it
kind of brings it and especially evening when the lights low.
Well, and I think talking about those spaces too, and finding what you love is people are welcoming more and entertaining more. So we're seeing big trends on outdoor spaces, little accent bar areas, or places that they can set up catering spots, or to put food out. So I think people are really thinking about what age are their kids, or sports groups going to be coming over. I've got a teenager, so it's like, kids in and out. So we have upstairs a mini fridge with their waters and sodas. And so I think you really have to figure out what phase of life you're in and really personalize it around that. And you can take any space and do that with. You just kind of have to dig into it a little bit more. I think people get so rushed into like the building and whatever. If you just like think about an extra layer of how somebody might be utilizing that space, whether who's going to be living there or not, it does bring an extra added level of excitement when they walk in and they're like, oh my God, I could use this for this or this.
Right.
Instead of just gutting a whole space and opening it all up and throwing up white cabinets and throwing up, granite Ubatuba countertop, really think into a little bit of what's trendy, what's classic, and what people can think about living there for anyone.
I think that it's like the ebb and flow, and maybe we went too far on the pendulum in the open spaces, and now we're kind of pulling back to a happy medium of still openness for hosting and still like be able. I love a good line of sight across the room, but then also, like you said, like a separate space if you need to study or whatever. Yeah. I also thought the lighting thing is, I love that you brought that up, because I think I don't know, my brain's just going through the filter of it, because, even with the studio, like if people could look at what's behind the scenes, they're always like, the podcast looks great. Yeah. It's like, well, because it's lit really well specifically for the cameras and all the things. And even like us talking about spaces flexing, like the lighting flexes a space from bright and open for hosting a ton of people or playing Lego to wind down for watching TV or having an intimate conversation with a loved one, you know? And lighting, just a simple flick of the switch can do that if you pre-think about it in your build and spend a few extra dollars. Because wiring itself, I mean, you and I both know, as soon as the drywall goes up, it's a lot harder and a lot more expensive.
I think you're going to, that was one thing, again, they really pushed this week, or not pushed, but just said this is coming. And I think you're going to see that. It's a conversation I'm going to have with my builders. It's a conversation I'm going to have with people building, is really think about the lighting. And again, it's something you really need to do on the front end if you can. But 42% of Gen Zs are focused on their sleeping habits, their mental wellness, their health, what they're putting in their bodies. And a lot of that I know it sounds crazy, but it has to do with the lighting and how you feel at the end of the day. And, you know, we're so nonstop all day, go, go, go. Our phones are going off, pick up kids, run this, Erin, do this, do this, do this. And at some point you have to take that down. And if you can do it with lighting and putting your phone down at night and getting it away from you and turning on a reading lamp and read instead of, you know, whatever else is going on. I really, really, really think lighting it. And we listened to a big lighting company was at the conference this week, and they're working with multiple lighting designers where you're not going to see open bulbs anymore. You're going to see even as far as the globes on the bulbs are softer. Everything is changing on lighting. Everything is changing on lighting. And it's just to bring that calmness. It's to bring that 10 minutes or 15 or 30 minutes of chill in the morning before everything gets going and at night. So, and again, that's something you really have to think about, because so many people buy houses during the middle of the day, that you really want them to enjoy it at night as well.
I like that because, you know, with LED technology that, you know, is still in the cycle of tech, it's starting to mature, but it's still kind of new. And I've always felt there's a harshness to it. And I think that maybe they're going to try to start solving for it. I've seen like it not be as bad as it was at first, you know? So that is, I'm excited about that. I've always liked the more open look of like clear bulbs, but I've never liked the glare of it in a bathroom. So I'm like, I just typically go frosted because the bulbs aren't soft. And so if we could have a really soft bulb, we could still do clear and see the transparency. Say you do the tile background, you can still see through that bulb to your back, you know, tile. I don't know. This is my brain is like literally like
interesting. And you know, people are requesting which isn't, again, this is where I take personal out of what people want. But people are requesting the lit mirrors at their vanities. And you can adjust those settings. You know, everything needs to be adjustable the lighting needs to be adjustable based on the mood or what you're using it for.
Do you like those?
I don't. I love them in a hotel, but I don't think I'd want to look at them every day.
Yeah, I don't like them either. And maybe that's just because it's so bright.
It's so
bright. But I
bright.
guess if you're, I mean, I don't do my makeup. I know it's hard to believe how good I look, but I'm assuming there are times when it's really nice to have that much light. But in general, I like seeing them and I'm like,
I know.
Whoa.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't need to see that much.
But I do think lighting is going to be a big trend going forward. I really, really do.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And it goes back to what are we spending, you know, if you're processing a new build or if you're processing, you know, a renovation to the back of the house or whatever you are, number one, my high recommendation is hire a great builder, hire a great designer. But what are you going to spend your money on? And what can you, maybe if your budget constraints are there, save on some of the things, like don't install the wallpaper that you wanted. Don't I'm trying to think of other things you could pull back a little bit so that you can spend a little extra on your countertop or you can add that extra wiring for the sconces in your, you know, bedroom, just whatever. So going back to it would be flooring, countertops, cabinets, the actual cabinets, maybe not the finish, but because you can always repaint, you know, not that you want to, but lighting, wiring, like wiring for positions, which is an electrician and a little bit deeper house build conversation. I'm trying to think of anything else that would
Anything,
be
roofing that coverage of that, garage spaces, whether you're doing detached or attached garages, anything that covers the space and is attached.
Yes.
I would consider up front. And we work with different builders that have different programs, and
Right.
all of those builders we have worked with in a way to get their design process and their building process and their products for what fits them best. And I think every builder and entrepreneur that touches the real estate market really has to figure out what they want to represent in the market. And I think we help them prioritize that, streamline that process, and really help them not only get into a layer of what they want to represent, but then what they want their sales and marketing team to represent. So I think lighting is going to be huge for every builder.
Yeah.
I think there are some builders that are willing to change plans and some are not. But I think if you have that level of personalization that you can customize more, which we work with a lot of custom home builders, then you really do want to take that extra layer, an extra step of what is important to you.
Yeah.
And what do you not want to go back and do? And let's review your budgets. We have a great custom design team in-house that she does a great job at looking at the budgets, but then after we meet with them, we may call the builder and be like, hey, this is more important to them than this. So let's
pivot.
Let's talk about this tile budget as opposed to their outdoor landscaping budget, because they really love to spend time outside. So we really do try to take each builder, take each client, take whatever they want to represent and how far they want to take it in their process and with their business, and personalize it with them. So I think that's really important for swag to do, and then for something that we can provide to people. And that's whether you're building new construction or remodeling. We really do try to partner with the people that we know mutually that try to remodel. Again, some people are very strict on, we only want to do this, we only want to do this. But then if you have those opportunities, we can make it a great process no matter what it is. No matter what the parameters are. So
I love
that's
that.
really on the design side.
Yeah, I love that. I know we've harped on the lighting thing. I'm thinking about the process of the construction and how that is going to be it's kind of correct me if I'm wrong, it's a little bit of a fundamental shift in the way you approach the design process, because the design is thought very much like, what color are your countertops?
Yeah.
You're not thinking, do we need to, all the way in pre-construction, think about setting your electrician budget for an extra $5,000 so that you have wiring for your lighting. And
again, it goes back to your environment that you're building in. I mean, that's going to be an option for some. It's not going to be an option for everyone. So, but in the higher end builders, they're going to have to say, hey, just alongside with your countertops, here's a lighting option. Absolutely.
Here's a lighting package.
Absolutely.
And it's a plethora of things. You get your sconces, you get your two levels of lighting. Like, it's
an extra layer of the process.
It'll be cool to see how which builders attach to it and not. Yeah. So you get to be the champion. They should call y'all. I love it. I want to circle back and something just a little more personal, which I think is really helpful as, we're both parents and the craziness of this, life and phones and all that. And it kind of has to do with home and different than a house, it's a home. As an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as a mom, juggling all that, how do you set the phone down, wind down from work, and then focus on family? What does that transition look like? How do you disconnect? How do you recharge and focus back on that? Yeah. Very, very different direction. I love it though. But I think you have a great perspective because you juggle a lot.
I do juggle a lot. So I have a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old, both boys. Both are very active. Both are very busy. And I think what I've learned over the last 4.5 years is time with your family is really all that matters. And when I started the business in 2009, I was pregnant with my son, my oldest son, and I knew I wanted to be there for him as much as I could. And in those days, it was, you're at your desk at 8 and you don't leave till 5:02. It was very demanding. And so I created this business around family, and around friendships and around flexibility. And the team I have now, they are the most incredible people could ever surround myself with. But at the end of the day, I want them to be there for their families. And we're all moms. And we drop off our kids at carpool and we pick them up at the end of the day. And everybody takes their kids to practices and dance recitals and whatever. But it doesn't mean we might not be working from 9 to 10:30 at night. So we pick up where we leave off. But our foundation of swag has always been our family first. My husband actually passed away 4 years ago. And so I am raising 2 boys with the support of my swag team and my family.
I love it.
And other community that it does take a village. And I think at the end of the day, you have to stop. Because you do not know what tomorrow is. You really don't know.
Yeah, we aren't promised to tomorrow. That's so good.
I love this industry so much. And so working is easy. It doesn't feel like work. And if I'm not sitting with my kids, I want to be working. Like
Right.
I thrive off of working. It's funny because shortly after he passed away, a builder that I've worked with since 2009, and we do their design appointments, and they do a lot of appointments a week. I was back doing a design appointment like a few weeks after he passed away, and the owner of the building company came in there and was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "This is what I need. I need to be in front of people. I need to go through this process. Like, I need to live again. Like, this is what I thrive on." So I think it really is a shift in understanding that you have to put it down. You really do. And I can get behind on emails or may not have returned a call from 2 days ago, but it'll be there tomorrow. I mean, it really will at the end of the day. And people are understanding of that. Again, the market is shifting. Life is shifting. But I think we've all kind of know each other in this industry, and you've got boys, so you might be at carpool. I've got kids. We might be at practice. Some realtors I work with, I see them on the football field. So you kind of have to give them that space too. So I think setting it down at the end of the day is required. But I think surrounding yourself with good people that understand and support whatever you're doing is not an option. I mean, it really is. And
I love that.
As long as swag is established and operating, we will always put family but we always work hard. I mean, that is the thing with this group. We work so hard. I mean, we will squeeze in a lot between drop off and pickup. It's insane.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's really great. So
well, and I think about when you get in the gym at first, you're lifting 100 pounds and then it's 120 and then it climbs. And I'm sure you have found in your schedule those gaps. Where at first it was kind of like, oh man, it's really hard to focus with this 30 minutes. But now it's like, if you have 30 minutes, you can get a lot done.
You can.
If you're really pressed and you're like, this is what I have.
You have to be scheduled and structured, you know, and kids thrive on that. Adults thrive on that. And I think, and that's how we run our design process. I mean, our design process is very scheduled. We break it down, and it's because people like scheduling. I mean, they like being told what to do next when it comes to whether it's work life or a Friday or a weekend. I mean, we really do all run off of our phone schedules. So I try to incorporate a lot of our everyday daily living into the business. And so
I love that.
And I think a lot of it, when you talk about what you do with your free time, another thing that we've incorporated into our daily life is working out. I think mental wellness, just like these statistics are coming out that people are preferring mental wellness over luxury. I mean, they would rather work out than go shopping or whatever. I mean, it's really what people are thriving on. And so I think we have to all take advantage of that and take care of ourselves. And as a single mom, my health and my well-being is my kid's whole life. So
it's the base you operate from.
It is. So they may not see what I'm doing behind the scenes, but my health and success is their health and success. And kids watch us. I mean, they see everything we're doing. So
and good and bad.
Good and bad. They remind us of all of it. So
I was thinking about it. So I've been introducing my boys a little bit to some of the bands that I grew up with. And it's been really great. And I didn't grow up with them, but I was big into classic rock growing up. So I introduced them Pink Floyd, and there's, that song, I can't even think of the title, but, we don't want any education.
Yes,
like, no education.
Yes.
They're like, yeah. And I had to explain, like, the meaning is, like, don't give in to the man and stuff. But so that's been a favorite. They're really into Red Hot Chili Peppers. But it's kind of interesting of, like, introducing them. They're a little bit older now, so I'm introducing aspects of life. But be like, hey, this is a good song. The beat's really good, but the lyrics are probably not.
Don't listen to all of it.
So I'm trying to figure that out. But you're right. There's so much. They're sponges.
Yeah.
And I think, what I love, and speaking back to your team.
Yeah.
And the quality, like I said, I've used y'all several times for some of my flips, and the communication's great. Always wanting to help. Always want to work through little bumps in the roads or be accommodating. And that culture just, I think, pervades your life of how you want to lead your family, your team.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see.
Oh,
and
thank
so
you. That really makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because, we've starting out in a garage, with inventory here and running around.
Right.
And, it's funny because when I started, there was no social media or,
Right.
I was sending e-blasts in the middle of the night and emails and I would jump from real estate office to real estate office and put flyers in people's mailboxes. It was just, it's just evolved. It's just grown. And like, I'll always say every step of the way takes you somewhere next. And it really is true. I look back at the last, good Lord, 20 years I've been doing this, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I think overall, having a great reputation, and if something happens, you fix it. I think that's just, it's been a great journey to get where we are and to continue to grow and to continue to see what's coming, to see who's coming to the market and the builders we're working with, how we can help improve them. And we have such a great reputation and people trust us so much. And that is the biggest value and blessing we could ever ask for is to really just have a great reputation. And, things are going to happen. All you can do is apologize and move forward and, go on with your day, which is what we try to teach our kids to do.
Right.
So anyway.
Talk to me a little bit about, because I think there are some people who will go through the process, and specifically when we were talking with the construction company, one of my buddies, they think I don't need a designer. And you're like, cool, try it on your own.
Yeah.
And then timelines increase, indecisiveness. A lot of them end up spending more with the construction company because you're still paying them to make some of these decisions and do some of the work that you should be doing.
Right.
And it delays the project. It delays the choice, like all of these things.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about what you kind of seen with, I know that there's someone who said, hey, I think about hiring you, did not, and then came back and said, please help.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right. It's not only the delays in construction. I would say 85% of people that go through that process really don't know where to start and don't know what they want. They may have an idea, but when we get in front of them, knowing what they're doing, we can lay out options for them and our confidence immediately puts them at ease. So we're able to pull out some things a lot easier. We also have, again, with our structured design process, we have a very detailed list of what needs to be done.
Right.
And so within 30 minutes, we can make more progress by pulling stuff out of our design studio and making those selections than the builder can or the remodeler can by grabbing stuff from his truck or running to Home Depot or, oh, we need this grout color or, oh, we need this. They need to focus on one thing, and we've done that with our business this year as with my designers, everyone has their area that you stay in. I think when it comes to a process and when it comes to successful business, you do have to give that job to other people.
Yeah, that's good.
But we work for the builder. We work for the remodeler. We work for the client. So our first conversation with them is what products do you use? What budgets are you doing? How much flexibility do you want to give them? Do you want to stay within these parameters? And then we help put them levels together and price points together within the studio. So we really do streamline their process. We can do a full design appointment in 3 hours and be done, where it would take them
Yeah.
a lot of indecisive, and people are working. Like we want to do it around. We know that it's going to take some time when you're building or remodeling, but we want to be conscious of their time, and we want to knock it out and make them feel confident and comfortable.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we have people walk out and either make changes or second guess themselves.
That's so good. And that's a
what you
testament
need.
to your process.
Yeah, it is. It
And
really is.
and honestly, like to be like, here's my tile color, here's the color I want to put in the mud room, and to see them together, and then, oh, this part of the house, here's my countertops, and then you see it holistically and say, maybe we need to swap this because it doesn't. This is the one outlier that's just a little bit. Let's soften the screen just a little bit,
Right.
so that it falls in line with everything else.
Absolutely. And our studio has 90% of what you need to build a house. I mean, unless it's a custom, unless you want to go pick out your countertop or really, really customize something a layer deeper, we still have something there that we can pull it together. And then we may go meet with the cabinet designer to do the layout. But yeah, I think you definitely need to hire a professional to help you streamline that process. And it takes so much off of everyone.
I love it.
And it just adds a layer of comfort to your client. I mean, it does for a builder to say, hey, we offer this, like we're going to give you, it's just like a warranty or a loan person that you would work with or your closing attorney. I mean, it just should be an extra added step to your process that simplifies it.
You know, and I thought about it, and you know, there's obviously some level of personalization.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but that investment, we'll just take an example of a mid-level to mid to high level new build area in Hoover. Okay. One house just was like, give me the basics. We need to move in. And I understand budget. Like, I'm not knocking it. But the next person said, no, we're going to hire a designer. We're going to add a little bit of lighting stuff. Well, maybe not go full blown, but we're going to do some touches. Which house is going to sell on the back end better?
Right.
It's going to be, it's going to sell for a little bit higher, a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And so it's not even that, I think, is an investment in the overall value of your home. That is worth noting on the front end. It may be a stretch, but definitely worth getting the right people in the right seats to do it. So,
and even some of our builders that build multiple homes, and they have different levels or packages or whatever it may be. We have people that come in that don't upgrade anything, or don't do anything extravagant, but they still want their home to flow. Yeah, and they still want it to feel like it's been put together. And so I think whether you're spending $5,000 or $50,000, like we still want to service that person and get them excited about the process and the home that they're moving into. So you really do want to offer them that just for simplicity. And it's so funny because people will come in and 5 minutes into the conversation, so many times I hear this, I was up all night on Pinterest. Oh, this is so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, of course, I'm sorry you lost sleep over this. We make it fun and exciting. And it's an instant gratification of like, oh, okay. Yeah. My house is going to be good. You know, that's amazing. And again, they may not be upgrading or spending anything, but they still get a personalized home. And they're excited about it. And that's all we care about. That's all we care about.
I love that. Yeah. It is so good. And it's why you do what you do.
It is.
You know, it keeps you coming back every day. And, you know, I always said this is an amazing conversation. I think it will benefit people and kind of, you know, tease it a little bit of like why they should hire someone like you, hire you and your team who's amazing. But I always say time is our most valuable thing, and I know your time is very valuable. You're very busy, and I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so
much. This has been amazing, and I'm really excited to get this out to everybody. If someone wants to work with you, have a conversation with you and your team, how do they reach out?
You could go on our website, swaghomestaging.com, and submit a form, and it comes to all of us. And so
it's not bossmoms.com.
Right? I know. Crazy. And then on social media, Swag Stage Design on Instagram, and we post all of our stagings, design projects, share a lot of fun, a lot of projects. I mean, everything from personalized when we meet with people after, and furniture installs to design projects to staging. So I think that's a great way to find us, but you can definitely find us online.
I love it.
We'd love to work with you.
I love it. The big takeaway from me of this whole conversation is that it's your home. Yeah. And, you know, just make it, you know, turn it from a house into a home.
Live in it.
And live in it and try things and have fun and, be willing to take risks.
Yeah.
And maybe not do everything that you see on Pinterest or at your friend's house.
Yeah.
Make it personalized and make it you.
Do what it makes for your family. Do whatever it makes for to be comfortable and love your space.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for the time,
Erin.
There may be so much demand. We're gonna have an episode too. We'll see. But
might take it on the road.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I actually was thinking, I was like, I want to tour her home now.
Yeah, we can do
like
that.
Pressure,
I know, right?
The designer's home,
right.
like everything has to be perfect. But this has been amazing.
Thank
you
you
for the time.